Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got unfortunate news to bring to you out of Craven County where a man died overnight. North Carolina State Highway Patrol says troopers were called to the crash on Old US 70 near Sanders Lane around midnight earlier today. Troopers say 66-year-old John Hawkins was driving east on Old US 70 when he traveled off the road and hit a ditch, causing his car to flip. Now, Hawkins died at the scene. Now, troopers say Hawkins was not wearing his seatbelt at the time of the crash, and investigators say speed was a contributing factor that led to the crash. Now we also want to highlight some road closures that are going on through parts of eastern North Carolina, specifically in Onslow and Sampson counties. Here's a look at what you need to know. The NCDOT says crews are closing a section of Turtle Shell Road near Gregory Fork Road near Richlands to replace two crossline pipes in Onslow County. NC50, which is Suttontown Road, will also be closed for a pipe replacement in Sampson County. Now, both roads are expected to reopen on Friday, depending, of course, on the weather. And drivers are encouraged to use drivenc.gov for real-time traffic information. And now we got to talk about your forecast. It was a hot weekend and the heat is going to roll on into this week. Monday, today, Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. All First Alert weather days because that heat isn't going to break until we get late into Thursday or so into early Friday. Let's take a look at what we've got outside right now. Currently, again, some cloud cover stretching across parts of eastern North Carolina, but air temps in the mid-80s, on par with about where we were yesterday. Maybe a couple degrees cooler than where we were yesterday, but not to worry. We're gonna reach right on back into the mid-90s coming up this afternoon. A northerly wind, though, coming in at 6 miles an hour, encouraging after a weak boundary worked its way across the east yesterday. Providing maybe a little relief, but not much. Dew point still in the low to mid 70s, 73-degree dew point along the Washington waterfront. Feels like 91 degrees. Elsewhere in eastern North Carolina, Grifton right now again showing mostly sunny skies, at least if you focus on the left-hand side of your screen. Right-hand side, yeah, a little bit more cloud cover. 82 degrees right now is your air temp, but it feels like 89. Thanks to a 75-degree dew point. The humidity is here and the ongoing heat wave will continue to push our air temperatures up to around 93 to 98 degrees. Now that puts our heat index between around 103 to 113 degrees. We again are in a heat advisory for some, but an extreme heat warning for most. It is just going to be a very hot day. Yet again, make sure you listen to your body, take hydration breaks, really force the fluids, particularly ice water, that will help maintain and cool your internal temperature and make you feel a little bit more comfortable. But again, as far as the advisories and warnings go, all areas shaded in orange under a heat advisory for today. All areas shaded in the pink color, those areas under an extreme heat warning. I know most of the east again under the warning. Regardless, it's going to be hot no matter where you go. Whether you're around the Albemarle Sound, the Pamlico Sound, Crystal Coast, or I-95, or anywhere in between for that matter, you are likely going to be feeling quite hot today again, as air temperatures are expected to rise into the mid-90s. Now, when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel a little bit warmer. Right now, we're starting to feel like we're in the upper 80s, some areas low 90s, other areas mid 90s. And in fact, right now, Oriental kind of jumping out ahead of the pack right now, feeling like 104 thanks to a higher humidity. Now, current dew points right now reading in the mid 70s throughout most of eastern North Carolina. A few of us maybe a little bit outside of that range, but not by much. Greenville right now showing an 82-degree dew point. It is hot and it is humid, but a northerly wind right now is coming in at about 3 to 6 miles an hour. Those winds are going to stay fairly light for today. And that is, it'd be nicer if we had a stronger breeze out of the north. That much is certain, but you know, it's one of those things, even a northerly wind this time of year will still most likely bring in some heat. 94 degrees by 4, 94 by 5, and then we'll start to cool back down. Now, areas that see some rain showers today a little bit earlier in the afternoon may avoid the mid 90s, may end up in the upper 80s to low 90s. I know I'm certainly hoping for a a thunderstorm to roll over me by the time we get to around maybe 2-3 p.m. is that will help cool things down and make things a little bit more comfortable. But humidity will likely remain unchanged overnight tonight. Air temps dropping to the mid 80s by 8, low 80s by the time we get to around 10 to 11 p.m. at night tonight. Now let's take again a look at some of those showers. It's a picture by 6 and not much there. Not much. We will see some rain across parts of eastern North Carolina, but it's certainly going to be far drier over the region than wet. Again, those areas that do see some of those showers and storms rolling overhead, lucky ducks. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. But later on, coming up for your Tuesday, another chance of maybe a few afternoon pop-up showers and storms. Tuesday's outlook points more towards I would really call it a sea breeze type of circulation that would get those storms going. But zooming the picture out a little bit further, you can see where is our relief? Where is the break from the heat? Now, the high pressure system is what's causing the heat, and that's going to be sticking with us for at least the next several days. But then we get later into the week, and keep your eyes further back towards the west. That cold front you're seeing across Colorado, that is the beginnings of the system that will eventually bring in cooler and drier air back to eastern North Carolina by the time we get to the end of the week. By end of the week, no, I'm sure we got to get all the way till Friday before we can say, all right, a little bit of a cool down, exactly what the doctor ordered. 94 degrees on Thursday comes with a higher chance of showers and storms later on in the afternoon, more so the evening hours, as a lot of those frontal thunderstorms are going to be arriving Thursday evening, Thursday night into Friday morning, and then kind of hanging around on Friday before the front moves off coast. Now that will help bring more cloud cover to the east on Friday, cooling us down just through the lack of solar radiation. But then, of course, we'll also get some of that cooler air into eastern North Carolina once those clouds pull their way out into the Atlantic and leave us again with overnight lows in the 60s. That is going to feel quite nice. That's all we have time for today's 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day.
This hour of the WITN First Alert Desk is sponsored by ENC Pirate Realty.